To the recent clemency granted by President Biden, former prominent Lubbock businessman Benny Judah is set to walk free in April. That's 10 years earlier than his original release date.
KCBD News Channel 11's Brittany Crittenden joins us with a look back at his case and has reaction from a victim. Brittany?
Karen and Abner, the White House sent out a clemency list, including 39 pardons and nearly 1,500 commutations. While scanning that second list, we found Benny Judah, a name hundreds of people in Lubbock know all too well.
Mr. Judah did not have a certificate to sell stocks. He wasn't a licensed stockbroker. There certainly wasn't any insurance in place.
Benny Judah was convicted of a Ponzi scheme involving hundreds of investors. Judah operated numerous restaurants and businesses in Lubbock. In 2009, he pleaded guilty to money laundering and the sale of unregistered securities. Prosecutors say he defrauded people of more than $50 million.
I imagine they have a lot of heartburn. There are a lot of elderly victims who were affected in this case. A child lost their entire college fund. So a lot of just hardworking, vulnerable victims who were greatly impacted by this financial fraud.
Lubbock attorney Fernando Bustos was appointed to liquidate Judah's assets and recover as much money as he could to the more than 250 victims. He says he was able to recover more than $10 million.
The IRS estimates that most Ponzi scheme victims never recover more than 5%. So I'm grateful we could recover that much for them.
In 2010, Judah was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. That punishment will end about a decade early after President Biden decided to grant Judah clemency. Federal documents show his sentence will now expire in about 4 months on April 11th next year.
I talked to a victim recently, and she said that family members that were affected by this were elderly, and they've since passed away. She certainly wasn't happy with the decision one bit, but she did express great displeasure at President Biden's decision to do this for Benny Judah.
After seeing what happened to hundreds of investors, Bustos has some advice.
If there is a financial opportunity that's presented to you and it looks too good to be true, it probably is. And there is a great adage out there in terms of personal finance that says don't put all your eggs in one basket. Unfortunately, we saw a lot of investor victims putting all of their investment eggs in this one basket with Mr. Judah, and they got hopelessly burned because of it.
In 2020, Judah applied for a compassionate release to home confinement due to COVID-19 concerns. According to the Bureau of Prisons, he's in custody of a residential reentry management program. President Biden said the 1,500 commutations he granted were for people who would have most likely received shorter sentences under today's laws, policies, and practices, were placed on home confinement, and have successfully reintegrated. Sources tell us his clemency should not impact Judah's financial responsibility to pay $59 million in restitution. Abner.
Thank you, Brittany.